How's it, friends? I'm Nazubro, and sorry, no funny intro this week. As much as I would like to act like an idiot for y'all's enjoyment, my time is kinda limited right now because, no joke, I'm literally getting married in 6 days. Yeah, that's right, I'm not kidding. It's literally happening in 6 days. So, let's get on with the news then. Let's take a look-see at what's going on this week in the WoW of Worldcraft. So do you remember how my last news video was basically dooming about how much of the pre-patch was busted? Well, this week it's doing much better. For one, the Warband Banks finally work, which is a good thing since the pre-patch event, Radiant Echoes, is also live. This means with all of the Dalaran Defender loot dropping, in any armor type, no matter what class you're playing, you can really put that Warband Bank into practice. With most of the issues from last week ironed out, Blizz was able to make room for whole new problems, so let's talk about the new pre-patch event and the questline to go along with it. So upon logging in, we were greeted with something we've never seen before. A recap of all the important bits of info in a really nice cinematic, going back as far as Legion and hitting all the major beats about Xal'atath and everything relating to Azeroth herself. Of course, if you're like me, your add-ons probably got in the way and ruined the experience a little bit. But I rewatched it later and it is really nice, like a previously on World of Warcraft type vibe. If you're a new player who only just recently started playing, well, for one, you would probably be filled with an overwhelming sense of what the hell is even going on here. But at least you'd have a little bit of an idea of how we got here, or something. So after the
Previously on Dragon Ball Z,
we head to Silithus to meet up with the gang. Jaina and Thrall are here, as well as Anduin. The boy is back. Now I know some of y'all aren't really thrilled about how Anduin's story has shaken up, and yeah, Shadowlands didn't make it easy, that's for sure. But I am pretty attached to him. He's been around since the beginning, and I do like him. Anyways, we go into the Chamber of the Heart, where a very grumpy Magni basically tells us that he'll do us this one solid, solid, get it? Because he's pretty fed up with Azeroth not speaking to him for years, and leaving him as a walking rock. He says in the quest that he will try to speak with her just once for us, and not for her, to figure out what's going on. So he tries to speak with her, and something goes wrong. It was also at this point that all of my voice acting in the game just stopped working. And I had subtitles off, so I had a very little of an idea of what was actually going on during the cinematic. But it seems like whatever Magni did jostled something in Azeroth's mind, because it was after this that the Radiant Echoes started appearing across the world. So we head to Dalaran with an unconscious Magni in tow, where Moira, Bran, and the young lad Dagran meet us. There's a nice stay a while and listen of Moira talking about how shit of a dad Magni was, but that she really wants him to wake up and be a better grandfather than a father. It's at this point we're let loose to tackle the Radiant Echoes, which were pretty scuffed for the first couple days, I won't lie. It is always grand whenever there are this many players in one place, but holy moly, the 5+ second delay on using anything on my bars was brutal. Plus some of the side objectives filling up pretty slowly, and the hour and a half of wait time between actual active event status was tough. After suffering through this for the first 3 days, it was on Thursday that Blizz took action, proposing some potential changes, testing them on the PTR, and then implementing them all on the same day. The event now just skips the big punching bag step at the beginning and spawns the objectives on the map immediately, which now shows a progress bar instead of those nice orbs, since most of the objectives just keep spawning. Once the bar hits 0, the boss then spawns, and once the boss is dead, the objectives spawn again. And rinse and repeat. This keeps going on until the hour-long timer runs out for the zone and the next zone becomes active. Yeah, that's right, they reduced the time to only 1 hour. And while the zone isn't active, you can still go and kill some regular mobs if you want. The amount of residual memories, the currency you get from doing all of this, also drops in much bigger piles now. The quests that used to be weekly, but could be done on every single character, are now daily, but can only be done once per account. Blizz didn't really want people having to character hop for the entire week to try to get as many dailies done as possible to then transfer currency to other characters. It does feel way better now. And with the objectives now spawning all the time, leveling a character is insanely quick. I've seen it be said that you can level a character from 10 to 70 in 4 to 5 hours, so it's a major improvement, and actually feels like a fun event compared to the previous few pre-expansion events we've had so far. Good stuff. So pre-patch is no longer broken to shit anymore. We can actually enjoy the game now. I have a whole stack of level 60 characters that I can level in this event, since I really only played my Mage and Evoker this expansion. I do want to play Priest more, especially with the special connection Priests have with Naifu, so she's probably next on my lineup. I blinked and my Paladin hit 70 from just doing the event. It's actually pretty fun. So besides the pre-expansion event, what else has been going on elsewhere in the Warcraft sphere of things? Well, we've got a bunch of beta stuff to talk about as per usual, so let's check that out next. Let's start off, of course, with the music, which, if you didn't notice, has been playing all throughout the background of this video so far. Some of the data mining basically revealed a decent amount of music from the War Within. Specifically, we've got the entire login screen medley, as well as a Xal'atath theme, a Illyria theme, and some others. While I haven't listened to all of it yet, what I have listened to is pretty good so far. It makes me even more anxious to play the War Within soon. We also have some updates to crafting, which I haven't really spoken about too much on my channel so far. In the War Within, it looks like your crafting specializations will all unlock sooner, with all of them being unlocked by the time you hit level 75 in your chosen crafting skill. Previously, in Dragonflight, you would have to craft up a storm and max out your chosen profession, and would need to hit level 100 before unlocking the final specialization. No idea what kind of effect this will have on the markets or anything. I'm not an expert, so I guess we'll see. Next up, would you believe me if I told you we have another Xal'atath themed Mythic Plus affix? Well, if you didn't believe me, too bad. Another one does exist. This time it's called Xal'atath's Bargain Devour. The gist is that many have decided it's basically Afflicted 2, Dispel Boogaloo. So the way the affix works is, periodically, Zal will show up and cast a Void Rift on everyone. This drops a 53% health absorb shield on everyone, which deletes 2% of your max HP every second. It can be dispelled by anything that can dispel, whether it's a dispel for poison, diseases, curses, or magic. If not dispelled at all, it heals all nearby enemies for 10% when the timer expires. If dispelled off of all players, you get 5 stacks of Lingering Void, buffing your HP by 10% and your crit by 20%. So yeah, pretty similar to Afflicted, but some of those numbers I read off are actually post-nerf, and you can see the changes on this really nice Wowhead page from what it was previously. Basically, it does really seem to drive players to do the same kind of stuff that Afflicted would have, and while I'm not a Mythic Plus expert, it'll probably feel pretty similar too. Now for you Mythic Raiders out there who also like to collect things, as part of the weekly dev notes, Blizz also revealed that the final boss of Nerebar Palace will drop 3 Mythic mounts instead of the previous amount of 2. The mount in question is this gnarly Nerubian monstrosity in a striking white and red color. If you Mythic Raid every week, first of all, I'm sorry. And second, you'll probably get your hands on one of these sooner. Blizz also posted some direct responses to some specific delve feedback. They fixed an issue preventing people from leaving delves in the most recent beta build, as well as working on some more clear messaging on whether teammates of yours are eligible for certain levels of delves or not. Brands should now also not attack things that might make life harder for you, and some tuning was done to make solo casters not hate life so much, including reducing the amount of unavoidable damage when playing as a cloth-wearing class. Huge news for me as a mage main. They've also given Bran a new toy specifically to make healers feel more like healers, which ups Bran's damage a bunch while also draining his health a bit during combat. Meaning you'll likely be spending less time healing yourself and more time healing Bran, while he deletes dudes. I don't main a healer, but that does sound more fun to me if I were playing one. I have been looking forward to delves since their announcement, so this is all good stuff. Some last bit of news that involves the live game. A small group of players received a big surprise this week. Some players logged in to notice that they had been given the old Warlord's Deathwheel motorcycle mount, which was a promotion from way back in 2014. This small group of players were actually eligible for it back in the day, but for one reason or another didn't receive it. And a recent update shook something loose and gave them the mount along with the Feat of Strength. Can you imagine the surprise? Blizz also mentioned similar things happening to other achievements, but as far as I could see, they didn't elaborate. Either way, I thought it was a fun story, and if you're one of the few that experienced this, let me know. And with that, there's not really a whole lot of other news. There is the beta dev notes that have the usual class tuning, which I won't go into detail, but will link in the description if you want to take a read. With the beta still active, there's a lot of random little bits of tuning here and there that I'm not going to completely cover, but it's all out there and happening. Something else funny I noticed though. It seems many content creators out there are getting ambushed by Xal'atath herself in their videos or streams. You know what that means? Xal'atath is clearing the content creator board and making room. And you know who's still standing? Me. That's who. I'm still low-key and flying under her radar. And with all those other creators out the way, it'll be me, and of course all you guys watching, still standing. So let's keep the channel growing, bros. The current subscriber goal is 100, so let's keep it rolling. There'll be a steady stream of content going forward until the Last Titan and beyond. And I plan on sticking around. I've got a whole video about hero talents planned, talking more about their lore and vibe rather than their gameplay, and how some of them might be problematic that way. Keep an eye out for that. Like I mentioned, I'm literally getting married in 6 days, so there probably won't be a news video next Sunday. But hey, that's life. I also just posted yesterday my August trading post review, which are fun, unscripted videos that I really enjoy doing. Check out my July one too if you like. Anyways, it's time for me to head out. If you made it to the end of this video, you're a legend. Please consider leaving a like if you enjoy how I do things here, and subscribing would mean the world to me. Let's get to 100 subs. Other than that, stay safe, bros.